Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Canis, and today I have with me Todd Greenbaum. And of course, I wrote your, it's Greenbaum. I had your name written wrong in my notes. Todd Greenbaum, President and CEO at Input One. How's it going today?
I'm doing great, Tony. How are you today?
Fantastic. And we're recording on Saturday before ITC because of some scheduling mishaps on my side. So thank you for your willingness to record on a Saturday. And according to LinkedIn, you are in LA.
That's right. We're just outside of LA, northwest of the city, but in the suburbs of LA.
So weekend before Halloween, the rest of the country is freezing. I'm guessing LA is just beautiful this time of year.
Well, it depends. You know, that's all relative. In LA, 60 is freezing, so we're getting down to chilly weather here.
Okay, so weather, like sweater weather.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we always give the guest a chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Input One?
Well, Input One is a software, technology, and tech-enabled services business that is dedicated to the digitization of the premium collection life cycle. So for the last 40 years, what we have been doing is helping insurance carriers, MGAs, retailers, even banks, any entity that participates in the insurance vertical to enhance their offerings by virtue of deploying technology-supported services which help the most common and frequent interface that a policyholder has with an insurance operator, and that is the payment. And so we are all about the premium collection lifecycle, making it easier, reducing the friction, and giving people more opportunities and more flexibility to be able to afford their insurance payments.
Okay, so billing sounds like it would be easy. It sounds like just get Stripe on your website, and that should make it easy. Why is it hard within the insurance space?
Sure, fair question. Well, insurance first of all, insurance is people like to have the ability to customize their payment plans, right? Insurance is not a homogenous type of product. So some people like to pay their premium in full. Some people like to pay in installments. Sometimes those installments will be monthly or quarterly or semi-annually. In some cases, even you have a case where a policyholder finds the right product at the right price, but there is no payment plan at all. So how do you facilitate that? Well, they have to go use a credit card, or they have to use a line of credit, or they can use a premium finance business. So in order to properly address the entire premium collection lifecycle and do it correctly, you have to be an expert in all modalities of payment. It gets even more complicated that because, as you know, you can buy insurance today, and if you're a commercial truck operator, for example, your insurance premium could change during the policy term. You add more to your fleet, you subtract endorsements that are premium bearing, can affect the payments. So now how do you do that, right? How do you make sure that they are getting the right payment at the right time? And then, of course, billing, in addition to payments, involves the fact that you have to send notices out to the policyholders. You can't just you can send them a bill, but what about a late notice? What about a cancellation if they don't pay? Well, every notice for every coverage is regulated by state. So you have to know what those notices look like, and you have to be able to produce the right notice at the right time for the right policyholder. So there are many layers that make billing and payments far more complicated in the insurance business than just here's my credit card.
Okay, so especially in commercial lines where the policies tend to change, and when sometimes the only option is pay the whole thing up front, so you want to finance it. Makes sense. So basically every insurance provider needs some sort of billing partner.
Yes.
Are you guys specialized on MGAs? You specialize on small carriers? Is it commercial lines carriers? Is there a particular part of the industry where you're specialized on?
One of the items that makes Input One very unique is that since we control all modalities of payment and have built platforms to support them, For those people that just want to collect a single payment, that could be a retail agent, it could be an MGA, or it could be a carrier. We have a product that does that. If you have a billing program, as you know, retail agents don't control whether a premium gets billed or not, right? The MGA or the carrier controls that. So we have billing systems that speak to MGAs and carriers. And then the financing can actually be used by all verticals of the market. We have clients that are retail agents that use financing, MGAs that build financing into their offerings, and carriers that do the same. So the answer is we tend to cater, we really have platforms that serve all elements of the insurance vertical.
Okay. How long has the company been around?
Well, the company's been around since 1984.
Oh wow, okay. And you've been running it for the whole time.
Well, I got into this because my grandfather started the business back in the early 80s, and he came to me when I was 16 years old in high school, and he said to me, you know, I'm starting this new business, and I need an insurance, I need a software program to run the business. And he says, I've watched you over the Sunday night dinners and talking, and you're pretty good at computers. So why don't you come write this program for me? And so I wrote a book, and I bought a book, and I wrote the software program for the business. And then of course I learned it, and it was fascinating to me, and I just kept going with it. So I've been doing this since I was 16, and I'm 56. So it's been 40 years.
Wow. Okay. How has the industry changed, and especially when it comes to our billing needs?
Well, things were a lot simpler back in the 80s. You know, you had monthly pay plans, quarterly pay plans. People were just mailing out, or carriers were mailing out invoices and collecting checks, and there was no internet. There were barely fax machines at the time, so things were done by FedEx. So payments were a fairly simple thing. We did a lot of financing back then because folks needed that more, because carriers didn't have more advanced billing mechanisms to handle the premium collections. So you see a big change in that. And of course, as we know, from the insurance distribution side and the insurance manufacturing side, the carriers, you know, they're using a lot of the technology now for AI and machine learning to really focus in on risk profiles and more properly price premiums. So a lot of the pricing is getting a lot more surgical than it used to be, as opposed to broad stream pricing. You know, and you also have a lot more MGAs today than you used to, because insurance carriers oftentimes just want to be balance sheet providers, right? And they want to outsource all of the administration to policy issuance and claims and management to MGAs. So there's a lot of different changes, but those are the ones that I think are kind of the 40,000 foot items.
Yeah. So on the website, I see listed uh, traditional premium finance and premium finance as a service. So how is that? How is one different from the other?
Well, in order to serve the entire premium collection life cycle, right, you have to have a financing option, because some people are going to want to finance. Roughly about 10% of all property casualty insurance premiums are financed. So we have a premium finance business where we borrow money from the bank, we lend money to policyholders, and we provide the financing for them. But what we also find is that there are certain times when insurance carriers or MGAs or retailers even would like to own their own finance companies, no differently than when BMW manufacturing, the manufacturing arm of BMW forms BMW Financial Services to finance the product that they sell. This happens all the time, right? Chevron issues a credit card for the gasoline that it sells or manufactures. So we help insurance agents, MGAs, and carriers set up their own premium finance companies so that they can finance the products that they sell, which can actually allow them to be really reduce the friction in the transaction, be more customized for the client, because they know the client better than a third-party finance company might be. So premium finance as a service is where we set up and help people run their premium finance businesses. Premium financing on a retail level is where we're just providing the financing to people that need it.
So truly, you're providing A to Z. If it's related to billing or premium finance with the insurance.
Every single thing from the time the policy is issued until the policy expires, related to the dollars that are collected and the broker commissions and the phone calls and the notices, everything. And we do it at every modality. It doesn't matter, every step. It doesn't matter if it's payments, if it's billing, if it's financing, if it's call center, if it's outbound notifications. We do all of that.
Okay, PNC, life and health.
We have only done P&C at this point. We've
Okay,
talked about doing some elements of, for example, surety. Billing actually tends not to be that much different from P&C by itself. Billing and payments are very, very similar. There are other elements that are different, but for the time being, from our inception, we have focused on P&C.
Okay, perfect. We are very PNC heavy as a podcast, so that's exactly the right audience. So I'm guessing, except for brand new insurtechs, I'm guessing every listener already has a billing solution. So when you get in front of potential clients, what's the pitch for move over to us?
Okay, so there's a couple of elements. You're right that most people, I should say this, not everyone does have a billing solution. We have onboarded many carriers and MGAs over the last, 5 years that were just offering a one pay. That's all they had the ability to do. They didn't actually have a monthly or a quarterly payment plan. So in those cases, of course, we can fast forward that digital transformation very quickly and get them on, cloud-based systems with text communications and portals for everyone very, very quickly. So that's one case. In other cases, you have folks that have billing systems in place, but they're completely paper driven, right? So they're mailing out invoices. I mean, it's like we think about this in 2023. Is that really the case? And the answer is you would be surprised at how many insurance carriers, hundreds, possibly thousands of them, that are still sending out an invoice and collecting a payment via a check and don't have a mechanism to do that correctly. Or do that in a digital fashion. So, I always look at the digital transformation of insurance as kind of lagging behind the banking and the brokerage business. So what Bank of America and E-Trade and TD Ameritrade and Schwab have been doing for a decade, the insurance industry is just starting to do in the last few years. So there's a lot to be had there, particularly by the mid-size insurance carriers that don't have the big capital budgets to build or buy systems. So that's where we tend to come in, because we're a great solution for them, because there's not a massive capital outlay. We can get this done very, very quickly, and really get them digitally relevant very quickly.
So for a medium-sized carrier, like for a regional, how long of an implementation to get this going?
Well, it really what we find is this: if they had enough resources dedicated to the process, we could probably get them implemented in about 120 days. Oftentimes, look, you need to bring a billing system in. Everyone's got stuff on their plate, so people are busy and they have to allocate resources, and that's not easy to do. So I would say more often than not, it tends to go to the 150 to the 180 type of range, but rarely does it go beyond 6 months. If it does, it's just because people are dealing with priorities and bandwidth, and not because we're not able to deliver the product within that period of time.
Okay. And do you have any stories of how it getting modern billing changes the game for the insurers or MGAs? Do they tend to see higher retention, or I'm guessing a lot less cancellations for non-pay?
Sure. I mean, yes. I think there's two advantages. If you structure the right payment plan and you make it more affordable for the policyholder, and you digitize the process so it's less friction. You don't have to worry about the check being mailed in, or them actually writing the check and doing this. There's an automatic debit out of the account, whatever it might be. You're definitely going to improve the retention rates on that. We've also found that being able to offer all of these modalities at once is really, really important, because an insurance carrier, say you have a mid-sized insurance carrier and it's operating on a regional basis. Say it's located in New York and it's operating up and down the eastern seaboard. Well, there might be a higher tendency or desire for agencies in Florida to finance premiums, but you might have agencies in Virginia that want to do installment plans, and then you might have agencies in Maryland that just want to pay in full. And it does sometimes work geographically like that. And so when we come to play on this and we bring the entire platform to an insurance carrier, what you find is that by virtue of them being able to offer any modality of payment, they can better serve all of their clients, and they will gain more business that way. We have highly flexible payment terms, so you're not stuck with 25% down and 6 pays, right? Which, and sometimes changing that in a legacy system can be very, very expensive. So we come in, and our platforms allow for any down payment, any frequency of payment. You could have a 3% down payment, then payments due every 2 weeks. There's no limit on the frequency and the periodicity of the payments. So when you add that kind of flexibility and allow these bespoke billing plans to be built very easily through configurations with these insurance providers, they open the world to a larger perspective basis of policyholders who can now afford to buy their product.
Yeah, that level of flexibility would literally allow you to serve even populations that require to pay every week kind of thing.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so full flexibility basically to offer a world of options without trying to modify your very old legacy systems
Right.
that were likely not designed for this world. Okay, very, 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 very good. Anything else coming down in the future that you're not yet offering, but that is getting ready?
I think that continually expanding the methods of payments are always important, right? We're going to be adding the Google or Apple wallet options, like a PayPal type of a wallet, so that people can pay just like you go on Amazon, and you can go down your list of payment options and choose, I want to use this credit card, ship to this address, that kind of thing. So that option is coming in at the beginning of the year, or shortly after the beginning of the year. We'll be able to do that kind of thing. More integrations, I think, are really, really important. We're constantly talking with core systems to be able to integrate with their systems, whether it be insurance carrier core systems or whether it's going to be agency management systems, because the more you can get into that frictionless exchange of information, the easier it is. And that's really the whole idea here. I mean, you obviously want to reduce cancellation rates, you want to create flexibility, but fundamentally, this needs to be easier for the insurance broker, and it needs to be easier for the policyholder. And these integrations speak to that. So we're doing more and more of that. And then, of course, like a lot of other companies, we're bringing in more artificial intelligence into the process, because a critical part of our billing platform is the fact that we're taking on all the calls, right? This is, when you talked about earlier about the fact that why isn't billing just as simple as here's my Stripe account, give me your credit card? Insurance evokes questions. I've been doing this for forever. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how seamless it is. People have a question. What is this notice? What is this going to mean? Do I need more coverage? What is that? I mean, there's a million things that happen, and the billing captures a lot of those items. So being able to answer those more effectively through chatbots and artificial intelligence, but really good artificial intelligence, not the kind where you type something and you're talking to a computer, but really good AI. It's something that we bought a platform that allows us to build that, and we're enhancing those options too. And then, of course, the notion of big data and machine learning is critical too, because when an insurance carrier who's not accustomed to offering payments wants to go do this, you talked earlier about the fact that, well, that must reduce cancellations. And the answer is, well, it can, but it could also increase cancellations. If you structure the payment terms wrong, or you structure the down payments wrong, you can end up with a higher default rate than you want, which means you've done all this work to sell a policy, but you're only collecting a portion of the premium. So by virtue of analyzing the behavior of policyholders who, if I send them a text message reminder 5 days beforehand, do I see an increase in the frequency of payment and a reduction of cancellations? So we work with our insurance carrier and MGA partners very closely to help them get better results while still providing significantly flexible payment plans. So all of those types of things are really, really motivating factors to us because you have to create value. You have to be valuable to those companies if you want to keep them as customers. And that's our entire focus.
Yeah, I would have never thought that a lot of those things would come from my billing system provider. So I definitely love the value add strategy going into the future. That's fantastic. Todd, thank you for your time today. When this goes live, I will tag you on the company on LinkedIn, And for the listeners, literally input one with the number one.com. Very easy to learn more.
Yep.
We're recording at the very end of kind of fall conference season. This will go live Monday of Insure to Connect. Any specific conferences that we might be able to meet your team at?
Oh, our folks go to the WSIA. They go to Target Markets. Those are the big ones that they go to. And then, of course, we go to all of these the smaller agency association meetings all around the country. We have a national sales force, and they're always going there to support it. We are big supporters of the independent agency base and distribution channel. So we're always going to. You'll see our folks all over the country going to all these different agency association meetings. You know, we love the conference season. We love getting in front of customers and talking to people and shaking hands. That's probably my most favorite part of the year.
Awesome. I agreed. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Tony.